Well, thank you very much. Special place, really special place, but where I'm disappointed, I said we could have had 25,000 people if we did it outside. They said, did you see all the people outside? They all want your seat. That's the way life goes. And you're not giving it up. I know you too well. You're not going to give it up. Please sit down. Let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy ourselves. No, you got tremendous crowds out there. Thank you. I love your leg. Look at that. He has my name tattooed on his leg. How did you get to the Villages? How do you get to the... That's great. But I'm thrilled to be here, one of the most famous and thriving communities anywhere in Florida and really anywhere in the world as far as I'm concerned, the Villages. In fact, I was thinking about moving to the Villages, but I just couldn't leave Mar-a-Lago. I couldn't leave it. I got stuck at Mar-a-Lago. I don't know. But this has been a great area for us, and it's been a great part of our victory. I don't know if we got 100% run, but it was pretty close, right? Anybody in there didn't vote for us, right? No, we love it. And we met the folks that built the Villages and that run the Villages, and they're out here someplace, and they've done a fantastic job. Where are they? They're here someplace. Stand up, please. What a job you've done. Great job. Great job. And that was started with your grandfather and your father and you folks, and what a great job you've done. You know, in my old days, I would have been jealous. Now I couldn't care less about them. It's amazing. It's amazing how being president can do that to you. So in my campaign for president, I made you a sacred pledge that I would strengthen, protect, and defend Medicare for all of our senior citizens. And you see it's under siege, but it's not going to happen. Today I'll sign a very historic executive order that does exactly that. We are making your Medicare even better, and we're not letting anyone, it will never be taken away from you. We're not letting anyone get close. You see these people on the other side. These people are crazy, by the way. They're totally crazy. But they want to take it away and give you lousy health care. It's pretty incredible. You want to keep your doctors, right? Remember with Obama, President Obama, right? He said you can keep your doctor, you can keep your plan. That didn't work out too well for the people. 28 times he said he's trying to forget. You better never forget, okay? Never forget. As long as I'm president, no one will lay a hand on your Medicare benefits, and that's what we're here to do today. This order is the latest step in my administration's drive to ensure the world's best health care for all Americans. Together, we're creating a health care system that protects vulnerable patients, makes health care more affordable, gives you more choice and control, and delivers the high-quality care Americans deserve. And that's what we're doing. We're strengthening our health care system to a level that nobody thought would be possible. Our economy is booming. We're doing fantastically well. I think it gets a little bit hurt by politics. But our country is so strong and our economy is so powerful that even politics, and even when you have the do-nothings, I call them really the do-nothing Dems, they can't even affect it very much. We've created over 6 million new jobs since the election. The unemployment rate has reached a 51-year low. Think of that. Think of that. And soon it's going to be a historic number like so many of the other numbers. 2.5 million people have been lifted out of poverty. That means more Americans that now have, and that's what it's all about, they have a great way of life. They have affordable health care options, and millions of seniors are enjoying better, healthier, and more prosperous retirements. I should be retiring with you. I should be in this audience clapping. But I didn't trust anybody to be standing here because I know what you have. Yeah, thank you very much. It's true. I didn't trust anybody. It's very important. And nobody's done more in 2.5 years, their first 2.5 years, than what we've done. Whether it's right to try, whether it's tax cuts, no matter what it is, nobody's done what we've done, not even close. We're delighted to be joined today by a man who is really, really good at it. He ran one of the largest drug companies and really successfully, and I took him out. Look, that's where, that's where the money is. Well, that's where the knowledge is. He ran one of the biggest, most successful companies. I said, Alex Azar, come on out. I want to get you to be the top person in charge of this. I said, so let me ask you, how much bigger is this than the company you ran? It's like hundreds of times bigger. It's a monster. It's a monster, and what a job. Alex Azar, you know who he is. Where's Alex? Wherever you are. Alex, thank you. And he works with Administrator Seema Verma, who has been so incredible. Seema, you have to stand up. What a job. They know the most intricate little quarter sentences, you wouldn't believe it. I say, what about this? And they tell me, unfortunately, it's always like a little roadblock, but we figure our way around. And somebody else is going to be lowering your drug prices with us in a very, very short distance. We're going to be buying them from a slightly different source, a little bit unconventional. A lot of people say I'm unconventional. Sometimes you have to be unconventional. And Alex, when are we going to let Governor Ron DeSantis and your incredible First Lady, Casey DeSantis, when are they going to be able to do what we want to do? Alex, when are they going to be able to do what we have to do? Soon. Alex says soon. Because they're going to have a big, fat, beautiful surprise for you. And that has been an incredible couple and a great governor, and the job they're doing is phenomenal, and I was honored to be very much involved in that campaign. And if he was doing a lousy job, I probably just wouldn't have shown up today. But he's doing one of the best jobs in the whole country, Ron DeSantis. And also helping Ron and Casey, Jeanette Nunes, your Lieutenant Governor. Jeanette, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Jeanette. Great job. Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody. Ashley, I saw you down there. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. And a few warriors we have with us. You know, Ron was one of our warriors. He was in Congress, and he was fighting the Russian hoax. That was the Russian witch hunt hoax. And he was so impressive that when he said, you know, I'd like to run for governor, I said, I'd rather keep you right where you are, because they'll come up with another crazy idea. But I'm glad I did it, and it worked out well. But we have warriors back in Washington, and you have 5 of them right here. Gus Bilirakis. Gus, where's Gus? Thank you, Gus. Great job. The legendary Neil Dunn. Neil, thank you. These guys are warriors. Ross Spano. Thanks, Ross. Michael Waltz. Michael? Great job he does on television. All of them, they do a great job. They're defending us. They're not defending me, they're defending us. Because that was the greatest election victory maybe in history. And they're defending us. And a man with one of the best names in the history of politics, Daniel Webster. What a name. If I had that name, I would have been president 10 years ago. Thank you. Thanks, Daniel. Thanks, everybody. Great job. They really are. They're warriors. They go back and they fight corruption, and it's corruption what's going on right now. When you see this going on, it's pure corruption. As we gather this afternoon, Medicare is under threat like never before. You know that. You have people that are running for office that have ever happened. You will not be very happy here. Almost every major Democrat in Washington is backed a massive government health care takeover that would totally obliterate Medicare. These Democrat policy proposals may go by different names. They have all these wonderful names, like it'll never end. I'm sorry I smiled. They'll have me. The fake news is back there. Look at all. They'll say it's terrible. It's terrible. The president smiled. You know, they want me to admonish you. Who said that? Lock her up. Stand up, please. I'm admonishing you. Never, ever say that again. That's okay. Sit down. He's admonished. So now they can't do their fake number on us. Thank you. But they may go by different names, whether it's single payer or the so-called public option, but they're all based on the totally same terrible idea. They want to raid Medicare to fund a thing called socialism. Any socialists in the room? I don't think so. Not too many. Anybody? No? No? Not too many in the villages. You're not big on socialism down here, right? These geniuses, these real estate geniuses said, no, we're not too good. Every one of these plans involves rationing care, restricting access, denying coverage, slashing quality, and massively raising taxes. They want to raise your taxes. They also want to have open borders so that people can just come in and do whatever they want to do. And they have no idea who's coming in, by the way. They have no idea. But you know, in these countries, and now we're getting along great with the countries, Mexico gave us 27,000 soldiers guarding our border, and the numbers are way down. 27,000. I want to thank Mexico, government, the president. Congressional Democrats' extreme agenda would destroy our booming economy very quickly. One of the most disturbing proposals from left-wing politicians involves draining your health care to finance the open borders that we just discussed. That's how they want to finance it. Leading Democrats have pledged to give free health care to illegal immigrants. They put foreign citizens who break our laws and endanger our country. They put them way ahead of American citizens like you who obey our laws. I will never allow these politicians to steal your health care and give it away to illegal aliens. And now in New York, I hear they passed a new regulation that if you use the word illegal immigrant, did I hear correctly? They want to charge you a fine of $250,000. In other words, sell your home in the villages because you happen to say, we don't like illegal immigrants pouring into our country illegally. We want people to come into our country legally through a process, and we're all in favor of that. And by the way, the fake news will cut that last part of the sentence off. They'll just put the first part, and they'll say, man, is he rough, he's too tough, I can't vote for him. A nation must put its own citizens first. My administration is standing up for American seniors. And will always protect the Medicare benefits you earned and paid for. In the last administration, Democrats slashed Medicare by $800 billion to pay for Obamacare. Not too good, Obamacare. Now, one of their new proposals, backed by more than 130 Democrat members of Congress, would cost, listen to this number, $32 trillion, and that's on the low side, 32 trillion with a T. We're beyond the B's, the billions. And reduce Americans' household income by $17,000 per year. Is there anybody in this room that doesn't mind losing $17,000 a year? No? In order to get lousy health care. Though they use many labels, all of the Democrat plans would devastate our health care system. The fake moderates on the left are telling the same lies they did under the last administration, but the last administration, frankly, was moderate compared to the maniacs that you're hearing from today. These are maniacs. Elizabeth, Pocahontas, Warren. You know, when I used to hit her, I thought she was gone, Ron. I thought she was gone. She came up from the ashes. She emerged. Now we're probably going to have to do it again because I don't see Sleepy Joe making it, I'll tell you. No, I thought she was gone. Under this administration, we believe that every American family has a right of choice. You have a right to choose. Choice, so important. Like what we did with the vets. Choice, where they can go out and get a doctor instead of waiting in line for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 2 months. Choice. And you look at the doctor and you look at the plan that is best for you. The truth is there is no longer a moderate wing of the congressional Democrats. They've gone crazy. They've been hijacked by the radical left. I mean, these people on the left, these people are... Is that the same guy? I think so. Sort of like him. I can't admonish him again. I think it's the same guy. Got a powerful voice. Democrat lawmakers are not trying to build up the country. They only want to wreck and destroy all of the things that we've built up over the last 3.5 years, 4 years, 5 years, prior to us getting in here. You look at the stock market numbers from the time of the election, from that November 9th date, go a day later. Was November 8th, was that one of the great times? 2016. But go a day later, and you look at the numbers in the stock market, up way over 50%. The 401ks are doing unbelievably well. One of these people gets in, your 401ks are going to hell. The stock market's going to hell. Frankly, I think, and I hate to say it, the country's going to go to hell. They're consumed by rage and radicalism and insatiable lust for power. Well, how about Justice Kavanaugh? They talk about a woman. They talk about a woman, about horrible things that he never even thought about. Horrible, horrible things. And the following day, and they want to impeach him. And then the following day she said, no, I don't remember anything. I don't remember that. And they say, we don't care. We want to impeach him anyway. Now what they're trying to do is turn his vote liberal. But he's a much tougher guy than that. I hope. He's a much tougher guy. Thank you. Yeah, I'd better be. Tell you, if I weren't, I wouldn't be up here right now. With all that we have to put up with these people, we wouldn't be here. Democrat health care proposals would put everyone into a single socialist government-run program that would end private insurance for over 180 million Americans. I'm sort of smiling to myself as I go through these numbers, and I'm dealing with people that I know. I mean, I know the people in this room. Those are the people. I grew up with you. When we were young, I grew up with you. And now we're sort of still young at heart, at least. And that I'm even talking about socialism is like just it's sort of a weird feeling to be talking to you about you don't want to be a socialist. And you're probably saying, why is he wasting his time? But there's a movement on. And it's not so easy to beat them when they get up at a debate and they say, we're going to cut your college tuition to nothing. We're going to knock off $1.6 trillion. We're going to do all these other things. Everything's free, except for your taxes. Your taxes are going to go up at a level that nobody's ever seen before, and that won't be nearly enough to pay for it. But I'll not let any of this bad stuff happen. It's very important that we win this race. You know, when we won last time, I said that's the most important election in our country's history, because we were ready to go over the edge. And now our country's doing great. But you know, it's like a plant. It's like a tree. It has to grab, those roots have to grab hold. We still need more time. We've done so much. But we need a little more time. That thing has to grow and it's got to get in there, and then nobody's going to be able to take it down no matter what happens later on. So important. In America, we believe in freedom and liberty, not government domination and government control. Today, standing in solidarity with our nation's seniors, I declare once again that America will never be a socialist country. Will never be. You want to drive them crazy? Don't do 4 more years. Say 8 more years, you'll drive them. One of these crazy maniacs on the show was interviewing somebody, radical left, and he goes, you know he's going to win, don't you? Big show. And the guy goes, no, we're going to fight him. No. He's going to win. And you know he's never getting out. You know that, don't you? He's not going to get out. You know he's... And I thought, like, you know, he's a comedian. I thought he was, like, kidding and having fun. He meant it. These people are sick. They meant it. Anyway, but no, if you want to drive them crazy, just say 8 more years or 12 more years. 16 would do it good. You'd really drive them into the loony bin. And that's why they do the impeachment crap, because they know they can't beat us fairly. That's the only reason they're doing it. They can't win. They can't win. They won, it would be a sad day for our country. It'll be a sad, sad day for our country if they ever won. Among those who would be hit hardest by the socialist takeover are 24 million seniors on Medicare Advantage, a lot of you. 1 out of 2 Hispanic seniors, 1 out of 3 African-American seniors is enrolled in Medicare Advantage. This very popular Medicare program, been around for a long time, allows private plans to compete to offer senior citizens the absolute best health care. They want to destroy it. While many Democrat plans would eliminate Medicare Advantage, my administration is fighting to make it even better and much, much stronger. And thanks to our efforts, there are nearly 1,200 more Medicare Advantage plans today than there were just 2 years ago. Think of that. Premiums have plummeted by 28%. They've gone down. And they're now at the lowest level in over 10 years. With us today is Corey Spangler. She lives just up the road in Summerfield. Corey, please tell us some of what we've been discussing on Medicare Advantage and your plan and how important it is to you. Please come up, Corey, wherever you may be. Oh, Corey. Thank you, Corey.
Okay. My family came to America from Mexico when I was 5 years old because my father did not like the corruption and we had socialized medicine there. He came to this country legally, and when I turned 65, I had some heart issues. I went to the doctor. They scheduled me with a cardiologist. He scheduled me for stress tests on a Wednesday. I failed that test. So he scheduled me for a heart cath the next day. I failed that. They told me you need to have bypass, and I was going to have 5 bypasses done. The following Monday, I was in surgery with my 5 bypasses, and I went home the following Friday. This would never happen with Medicare for All. I love my Medicare Advantage plan because I can choose the doctor when I need it and get the care I need in a quickly manner, and it wouldn't happen with Medicare for All. Thank you, Mr. President, for saving my health care.
Thank you. Let me bring you come. I see a future politician there. That was, boy, she was so like calm, no nerves. You know, sometimes I'll see people that get a little bit nervous. Very good. Boy, what a job they've done. Great doctors. Did you choose your own doctor, or you get lucky with a good doctor that was recommended?
They were wonderful.
They were wonderful. That's fantastic, and you're wonderful. Thank you, Corey. Appreciate it. The Democrat plans for socialized medicine will not just put doctors and hospitals out of business, they'll also deny your treatment and everything that you need. Government-run healthcare systems always end up imposing rationing. You see what happens. You look at Venezuela, take a look at that. 15 years ago, it's one of the wealthiest countries. Now they don't have food, they don't have water. The hospitals are a disaster. No electricity, no anything. It's very sad, and we're helping the people as much as we can, but we're watching that whole situation. Beyond this, we're watching it very, very carefully. We're watching it very carefully. And Cuba. We're watching Cuba very carefully. Very, very carefully. But as an example, under the United Kingdom single-payer system, patients wait 117 days to receive, as an example, a knee replacement, 117 days. In Canada, wait times for orthopedic surgery are over 270 days. But currently in the United States, wait times for these surgeries, and we've speeded it up a lot, are typically less than 2 weeks. Is that right, Alex? And I have many people coming down from Canada. And I said, what are you doing? They're getting an operation of some kind. Why don't you get it up there? They said, there's nothing like what you've been able to do in a short period of time. And we're making it even better. With us today is Charles McLaughlin, a 71-year-old Floridian and a Marine veteran of the Vietnam War. Charles, please come up and tell us your story, please. I love you. I like you. That's not the light.
Thank you, man. Oh, man. Hello to the villages. What a great place you guys have here. Wow. I understand that approximately 60% of all of you are veterans. I want to say thank you for your service. And to my Vietnam brothers and sisters, welcome home. Welcome home. My name is Chuck McLaughlin, and I'm a Vietnam combat Marine. I'm also a cancer survivor, stage 4 style. I know a lot about Medicare and the supplement. I used it for breathing tubes, feeding tubes, stitches, staples, MRIs, PET scans, CAT scans, blood tests, hydration shots, chemo treatments, radiation treatments, 6 months of hyperbaric chamber, to name a few. Anyone that's cured, like me, loves their doctors, loves their doctors. Hey. I also want to say my family financially would have been destroyed without Medicare. Destroyed. The facts are now, the new date, the politicians on the left are pushing Medicare for all. I say the result will be no Medicare at all. It will collapse under the load of the system. It'll overload it. The lines would be incredible. Who knows? I probably wouldn't be here. As far as free stuff, it may be free stuff. It's going to come out of somebody else's pocket. There is no such thing as free, period. Hey. Is the Medicare system perfect? No, but it worked for me. Remember, I paid my share. Just a few thoughts. President Trump's plan of Medicare Advantage will give me more flexibility for options to this system. I can pick and choose my needs. Secondly, a program that helps protect us seniors for a fair shake as our bodies fail us. And number 3, we must get rid of the waste and fraud. Seems to be in the newspapers weekly. Finally, thank you, President Trump. for all you do. I want to personally thank him for what he does for our veterans. Finally, and may God bless you and your family for loving America and giving us a renewed hope for our children and our grandchildren. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Charles, and it's incredible. You've gone through a lot.
Yeah.
You don't look it. He's looking handsome to me, I'll tell you. Thanks, Charles. That's incredible. Like you, all of us today understand the truth. Socialism is not about improving the health of American people. It's about wielding power over the American people, taking things away from American people. In a few moments, I will sign an executive order to strengthen Medicare for seniors, and very substantially. I'll provide Medicare Advantage plans with new tools and options, and it'll help Medicare beneficiaries gain faster access to the very latest and greatest medical devices and therapies. My order also pursues reductions in the unnecessary regulations that you don't need, you don't want to see, that never come into effect and that cost a lot of money, enabling doctors and nurses to spend less time on paperwork and more time with their patients that they love. To further protect seniors, we are taking action to stop fraud and to stop abuse. It's tremendous amounts of money saved with that, and we'll be able to put that money right back into what we want to have it to take care of you. I'm directing Secretary Azar to crack down on criminals, cheaters, and dishonest providers who rob Medicare of the funds you have and the money that you've paid into the system all of your lives. Charles said it. Charles said, you know, I paid for it. He said he paid for it. And now they want to say, let's give it to everybody else, and it's going to be gone in a very short number of years. But you did pay for it. You both paid for it. Today's action is the only really great action that we can take. It's the only choice we have, because this is going to be something that's better than any place anywhere in the world. It's the latest of many important steps that we're taking to dramatically improve health care for the American people. Our vision for the future of health in America has 4 crucial parts, and we will protect vulnerable patients. Number 1, we will protect those patients that are so terribly vulnerable. We will deliver the affordability that you need, prices coming down. As I said, prescription drug prices, first time in over 50 years, Alex, that drug prices have come down for the year. Your average prescription drug price, first time in 50 years, over 50 years. And we're going to get them a lot lower, and I think Ron is going to have some big surprises. We'll be announcing that pretty soon, for really, really big reductions. People they're not even going to know what happened. So that's what we want. And we're going to give you options and control that you want, and we will provide the quality you deserve. First, we're protecting vulnerable Americans. We've made a clear promise to America's patients. We will always protect patients with pre-existing conditions. The Republicans will always protect pre-existing conditions to stop families from being blindsided by outrageous medical bills. And this is something that's one of the most exciting things to me. I have challenged Congress to send a bill to my desk that stops the horrendous practice of surprise medical billing. So many of you go in and you have something, and then you get a bill and you say, how is it possible? And we're going to end that practice. That practice is not a fair practice. And we're also confronting the opioid and drug addiction epidemic that is plaguing too many American communities. And thanks to our efforts, and we've worked so hard on it, First Lady worked so hard, Kellyanne Conway. Where's Kellyanne? Where's Kellyanne? Where is she? Kellyanne, thank you. Thank you, Kellyanne. Last year, drug overdose deaths declined for the first time in nearly 3 decades. Early data shows that drug overdose deaths dropped 10% last year in the state of Florida. Now think of that. That's, we'd like to do better. It's a very, very tough situation. And one of the things we're doing with the pain pills, we could call them, we're trying to find, and we're really working hard, and we're funding a lot of research to find pain pills that aren't addictive. You go into a hospital with a broken arm, you come out, you're a drug addict. And we're trying to find, and we're getting closer, I think we're getting very close actually, to finding painkillers that aren't addictive. And we'll have that in the not too distant future. And to care for our great veterans, we passed VA accountability. You know what that is, right? This is where the great heroes and tough people, and by the way, in their super prime, nobody touched them. But they're more vulnerable, and people would take advantage of our veterans. You had sadists. You had people that would rob them and rob the system. You had some horrible people. We couldn't fire anybody. They had in Arizona people that got caught stealing $400,000. They couldn't fire them. So now we have VA accountability. You think that was easy? They've been trying to get it for 50 years, and I got it. I'm good at getting things. So now when they don't take proper care of our vets, we say, Jim, get the hell out of here. You're fired. Get out of here. We can fire them. Get them out. We get them out. We don't have to ask questions. We get them out. If they're bad, they treat our veterans badly, we fire them. That's why you don't hear about, before me, every night you'd see these stories, these horror stories about the VA. I haven't seen one in a long time. Now, I don't want to wish it because the fake news will search the system to find somebody that's not happy. We found somebody. We found a vet in Florida who isn't quite happy with everything. Let's do a major story. But do you remember all the bad stories that used to be about the VA? Now you don't see that because they have accountability. We can fire bad people. We fired a tremendous number of really bad people that should have been fired years ago. I don't like firing people, but I like firing people that don't treat our vets great, that aren't doing their job. And they were protected, frankly, by the unions, and they were protected by civil service, very powerful. You think it was easy beating unions in civil service? Not too easy. But I explained to them, too. I said, this is good for all of us. It's good for America. And the other, as I said, is VA choice, where our veterans no longer have to wait for endless hours, days, even months. We've had cases where a person is online, not bad, could be fixed up very easily with whatever treatment it may be, and they end up being terminal by the time they see a doctor. That's not happening anymore, because now you go out, you find a great local doctor, we pay the bill, and it's interesting, it's totally less important. But we also save a lot of money on that. Hard to believe. We save a lot of money. It's much less expensive for us to do that than the other way, and it's saving tremendous numbers of lives. And we have great doctors, frankly, that need the business. Not so bad. To protect health care for our seniors and all Americans, my administration is taking strong actions to ensure that newcomers to our society do not drain our health care system or burden the services that you depend on. You see these people in California, the governor of California, come on in, everybody. Then you wonder why people are flooding our borders. Come on in, you have free education, free health care, everybody gets a Rolls Royce. Come on in. Come on in. To show you how corrupt CNN is, when I used that expression, they said, the president wasn't telling the truth. He said they get a Rolls Royce, and they don't. They don't get it, do they? They never got it. Some idiot at CNN said, you can't win without CNN. I guess we showed them. And their ratings are so low now that they are no longer the big difference at all. They have really bad ratings. But you know what is bad for our country? When CNN, so often I go to a foreign country, I meet leaders, and he said, why do they hate your country so much? I said, who? You know, CNN outside of the United States is much more important than it is in the United States. And a lot of what you see here is broadcast throughout the world. And we used to have Radio Free Europe, like I think Radio Free Europe and Voice of America, and we did that to build up our country. And that's not working out too well. But CNN is a voice that really seems to be the voice out there, and it's a terrible thing for our country. And we ought to start our own network and put some real news out there because they are so bad. They are so bad for our country. They are so bad for our country. I go out there and they say, boy, the media hates your country. And it's just a shame. It's just a shame. And we really are. We are looking at that. We should do something about it, too. Put some really talented people and get a real voice out there, not a voice that's fake. When Americans are struck by natural disaster, like they were in Florida, where I was with you, Hurricane Michael, did I do a good job, Governor? Did I do a good job? Man. Your governor came to my office once a week. He always needed more money. And I always gave it, right? He didn't stop. I hated it. I said, keep DeSantis. I don't want to see him anymore. But we always gave it, and you got it, and you people worked so hard, and FEMA and the military, they all worked with you. The Coast Guard is incredible, what the Coast Guard's done. I think Coast Guard has really done a great job. The second part of our health care agenda is to promote the affordability of America's needs. Thanks to our focus on lower drug prices, the FDA approved more low-cost generic drugs in my first 2 years than ever before in the history of our country. Think of that. Think of that. And every time I'd see the folks over at FDA, I'd say, come on, fellas, let's go. Faster, faster. You know, don't forget, when somebody was dying, and we had a drug that looked like it was really good, but it wasn't going to be approved for like 4 more years. It used to be 12 years. We brought it way down. I mean, it's too long, but we brought it way, way down. But a person is dying, and they said, no, sir, we can't give that because it may harm the person. I said, wait a minute, you don't understand. A person is terminally ill. They've got 4 weeks to live. And you don't want to give them a drug because you think it's going to harm them. I guarantee you I can get them to sign a document. And we got that approved, right to try. And by the way, miracles are happening, right? Miracles. Miracles are happening. Hopefully it never happens to anybody in this room, but frankly, people would go to Asia, they'd go to Europe, they'd go all over the world seeking a cure, if they had money. If they didn't have money, they'd go home and they'd die. But now they don't have to do that. And it wasn't easy because the drug companies didn't want it, because they didn't want to have terminally ill, because it looks bad on the percentage record, right? The insurance companies didn't want it because there are a lot of reasons. You know what the reasons are. Our government didn't want it because they didn't want to be sued by a patient that died that would have died anyway. So I said, here's what we do, folks. We signed an agreement, and the agreement holds everybody non-liable. We took the drug companies and we created a separate list. So they're not on that list because it is right, it's a problem. And we took a separate list. So now we have a totally separate list, confidential list, but they don't get hurt by somebody that was so sick that this person may not make it. And I got everybody to sign it, and we were done. It was pretty amazing. And then we got it approved in Congress because of these 5 great congressmen back there, including Ron, who at the time was in Congress, right? With Greg and everybody, we got it done, and we got the Senate to approve it, and I signed it, and I was really happy. Right to try. Hopefully you never need it. We also ended the terrible gag clauses that prevented pharmacists from telling you about cheaper options at the pharmacy counter. Do you believe it? I thought they were kidding me the first time. Don't forget, I've only been doing this for 3 years, okay? So, you know. These guys have been doing it a long time. But they're not allowed to talk to you about pricing. I said, wait, you got to be kidding. And they weren't. But I got rid of that. Now they can talk about pricing. You can go out and price. You can go to different places. They have to be open and transparent. That was a big deal. That was a big deal. And all these things, you know, they sound so simple. They're tough to get. They've been that way for many years for a reason. You have very powerful lobbyists. You have drug companies, frankly, that don't want that. Why would they want that? Well, you can negotiate price. Why would they want a thing like that? My administration is also working to require drug companies to disclose prices in their television advertisements, and we're almost getting to a point where we're going to be able to get that. So you're going to know what you're paying up front. They can't triple hit you. Essentially, we're holding Big Pharma accountable, and that's okay. They do just fine. Earlier this year, we announced another groundbreaking action seniors have wanted for decades. We will soon allow the safe and legal importation of prescription drugs from other countries, including the country of Canada, where, believe it or not, they pay much less money for the exact same drug. Stand up, Ron. Boy, he wants this so badly. Now, I mean, you go to some countries and the price is like 50, 60% lower, even more than that, I guess, Ron, in some cases. And it's 50, 60% lower. The exact same pill from the exact same factory, from the exact same company. And I say, why is it that in Europe, certain places in particular, it's 25% of what we pay back here? I said, must be a different manufacturer. No, sir, it's the same one. Must be made in a different factory. No, sir, it's the same one. Everything's identical. They pay 25%. We pick up all of the research and development. We pick up everything like a bunch of, excuse me, schmucks. Schmucks. Right? Not anymore, folks, because in a little while, your governor is going to be able to go out and negotiate till his heart's content. And he's going to go to Canada. I know he's going there already, and he's looking at their pricing, and he's going to some of the European countries and others, and he's going to get his drug price down to a level that you can't believe. It's going to be a great thing, and we'll see what happens. It's going to be very interesting. And I have a feeling when that happens, the drug companies are just going to say, we can't have this, and they're going to drop their price, I think. Now, they're very smart. They may go the other way, and if they do, don't blame me, okay? But I'm pretty sure you're going to do fantastically, Ron. You feel good about it? Huh? You better do good, otherwise you're making us both look bad. You hear that, Casey? American patients must no longer be forced to subsidize lower drug prices in other countries through higher prices in America. That's what we were doing. We're paying a much higher price. My administration will never stop fighting for lower costs for American patients and American seniors. The third part of our healthcare vision is to provide the choice and control Americans want. We eliminated Obamacare's horrible, horrible, very expensive and very unfair, unpopular, individual mandate, a total disaster. That was a big penalty. That was a big thing. Where you paid a lot of money for the privilege of not having to pay a lot of money for the privilege of having no health care. You paid not to have health care. It was a penalty. And how it ever held up in Supreme Court, I don't know, but it did, but we just got rid of it. We just did it the old-fashioned way. We got rid of it. We vastly expanded affordable insurance options, including association health plans, short-term plans, and health reimbursement arrangements, which are incredible. And many of these options are up to 60% less expensive than Obamacare. Nobody got that. Nobody got that. That's okay. Obamacare. I didn't say Obamacare. I said Obamacare. President Obamacare. He can have it. But we've done a great job in running it. We almost had it done. We unfortunately had one vote. Middle of the night, just went thumbs down. That wasn't good. After years and years of campaigning, repeal and replace, right? But we've done a great job because we got rid of the individual mandate and we're running it better. It's still no good because it's too expensive. The premium is way too high and all of the elements of it, it's just not good. But we're coming up with an incredible plan that if the Republicans take back the House, keep the Senate, keep the presidency, we're going to have a fantastic day. Yeah. Following my administration's recommendation, Florida has taken an important step to lower costs and increase choice by repealing a misguided certificate of need law used by hospitals to block competition. We encourage other states to follow Florida's example. They've done a great job right here. And I also signed, just recently, a revolutionary executive order requiring price and quality transparency. And the man who's really the leader in the world of this, it's transparency. You can pick your doctor, you can look at their records, you can see how well they did, you can go and negotiate. A man, what really sold me on it, the man who's the best in the world at it, who we used, and we gave you the max plan. Did we give that? The max plan, right? That's the maximum plan. We gave it to you. And he said something that I loved. He said, "Sir, this is more important and will go down as more important than any health care that you'll ever come up with." And I said, I like the sound of that. Now, who knows if it's true? But I guess from what I'm hearing, they've done it in certain limited areas, and it's phenomenal. And it's really transparency, and you'll be able to negotiate all over the place, and you'll be able to pick everything you want, from the hospital to the doctor, and it's going to save you a tremendous amount of money. And there are those that say it's more important than even health care at a high level. And fourth, my administration is fighting to ensure the high-quality care that Americans deserve. Americans have to get the highest quality. So we have the highest quality that Americans deserve. On behalf of 5 million Americans living with Alzheimer's disease, I signed into law a $1 billion increase in funding for critical Alzheimer's research, and we've made a lot of progress. And just one other thing I will tell you, because it even surprised me, but we've funded it now, and within 10 years, our country will be AIDS-free. Can you believe that? AIDS-free. Tremendous progress has been made. And when we were talking about that, I said, I don't understand. How does this? It's like somewhat of a secret, but it's incredible, the tremendous progress that we've made over the last few years on AIDS and AIDS research, and we should be essentially AIDS-free. Do you agree with that, Mr. Secretary? In my State of the Union, I announced a plan to invest, as you liked it, $500 million in new treatments and cures and all of the things that we have to go through with our incredible children, in some cases, for childhood cancers. It's a tremendous problem. And to bring new hope to the nearly 100,000 Americans currently awaiting a kidney operation, I signed an executive order that will significantly increase the supply of kidneys available for transplant. It's such a big deal. It's so big you have no idea. We worked hard on that, and you know what a lot of people don't know? A lot of it is just the work. People die fairly quickly because it's not, they could go on forever, but it's unbelievable amounts of work going in all the time for step by step what you have to do. And so with kidney transplants, we're making tremendous progress, and we funded a lot of money toward it, and I think it's going to be a tremendous thing for people that are just literally suffering with something they can really do very well with. We're delivering better, fairer, and more affordable health care for all Americans, especially our cherished senior citizens. And we will stop at nothing to deliver better health care for you and for your family. I will never let you down. You have been incredible to me, and I will never, ever forget you. I will never let you down. I promise that. Thank you. Thank you very much. We're lowering the cost of prescription drugs, taking on the pharmaceutical companies. And you think that's easy? It's not easy. It's not easy. They come at you from all different sides. I wouldn't be surprised if the hoax didn't come a little bit from some of the people that we're taking on. They're very powerful. They spend a lot of money. Spend, I think, more money than any other group in the world, actually, in terms of lobbying and lobbying abilities. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of the nonsense that we all have to go through, but that I go through, wouldn't be surprised if it was from some of these industries, like pharmaceuticals, that we take on, because I don't care. I did great. I've had a great life. I want to get drug prices down. I don't care about the companies. I want to get drug prices down. I want to continue to give them the incentive to come out with new and better answers. We've got to get drug prices down. And they've made a fortune over the last 40 years. They've made so much money. And they've got the system wired, because everything you do, their stock goes up. I said, what the hell is going on? Their stock just went up. They said, sir, it's going to be wonderful. I said, it's not going to be wonderful. Let their stock go down a little bit. But their stock goes up. And what we've done is incredible. And by the way, you have some incredible companies. The answer is that we want to keep them strong and powerful and wealthy, and we want them to really continue to do that research. But we got to get those prices down. They're far too high, especially when you compare them to other countries. And we want to ensure access to the doctors of your choice. And every day we are going to, as I said, we are going to defend Medicare like Medicare has never been defended again. And it's never needed the defense. It's always been incredible. It's something that worked, and they want to destroy it. In my administration, we know that Medicare is personal. Great health care is about more time with the ones you love, more days with your grandkids, and more freedom to enjoy the most rewarding years of your life, or what should be, by far, the most rewarding years of your life. You've worked hard. You've worked so hard, and you paid for it, and you've got to enjoy it. It's about getting better when you're sick. It's improving your well-being, and it's getting the treatment you need right when you need it. That's why in everything we do, we are defending the principles that made America the envy of the world and the American way of life, the greatest in our history. And our country has never been greater than it's been right now. Our military is the strongest it's ever built. We rebuilt our entire military. And even medical research is at a new level. It's at a level that we've never had it before. We stand for freedom. We stand for choice. We stand for justice and fairness and accountability. We stand for loyalty to our citizens, love for our country, allegiance to our flag, and long and healthy lives for our great seniors. And with your help, we are going to continue building the best, most advanced, most cutting-edge healthcare system anywhere in the world. We are going to expand our growing economy to make retirement easier and better and far more secure. We're going to defend American lives, American values, American families, and America's glorious destiny. There is no country like our country. We see and read things, but there is no country like our country, right? With every ounce of strength and every bit of soul, we are going to protect Medicare for you, for everyone at the villages, and for every senior across this magnificent land. You are going to be protected in many ways, but you are going to be protected. Thank you for being here. Thank you for this incredible enthusiasm. God bless you. God bless our senior citizens, and God bless America. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Come on.
There you go.
Okay. Should I do it?
Yeah!
I'll do it. All right.
It's almost over. Is it 2 for 1? Happy hour. Oh,
Thank you, Mr. President.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
God bless you. God bless you. Thank you, everybody. Here, grab these fellas. Pass them around. The congressman don't want one, I know that. Here you go. Come here, man. I love that. I love that. I love those guys. Bikers for 45, these guys. They've been there from the beginning, right?
right, all
They've been there. Here, pass them around. Pass these around, fellas. Pass them around. Come here, Attorney General, get over here. Come on. Get over here. Lieutenant Governor, come on. Please, both of you, come on up here. They're doing a good job, right? Should we give them a pen? I think so. Come on up here. That's great. I want to thank you all. Really a special time, and this is very meaningful for me and for you and for everybody. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
So the unemployment numbers just came out, and they're the best numbers we've had in over 50 years. The unemployment number is down to 3.5%, so that goes way, way back. We haven't had numbers like this in a long time. Wages are up by almost 3%. That's a fantastic increase for everybody out there working. We're very happy about those numbers. The stock market is substantially up as it was yesterday, and our country does well. Europe is not doing well. Asia is doing poorly, to put it mildly, and we continue to do very well with a miracle. But the unemployment numbers just came out, 3.5% unemployment, and that is a tremendous number, the lowest in over 50 years. So very happy, and I think really very important, again, I'll say, wages are up. When I was running, wages were nowhere. They were going down, and people were having 2 and 3 jobs, and they were making less money than they made 20 years before. Now wages are up, so we're very happy about that. One other thing having to do with Poland. So Poland is a country, great people. We have a lot of Polish Americans living in the United States. I've just signed, I will soon be signing and signed certain preliminary applications. We will be giving a full visa waiver to Poland. That means that people from Poland can easily travel there, and people from here can easily go back and forth. They can each. People from the U.S., people from Poland can very easily go back and forth between the United States and Poland. So they've been trying to get this for many, many decades. And I got it for the Polish people, in honor of the Polish people in the United States and in Poland. So we're very happy with that, yeah.
Adam Schiff got 4 Pinocchios by the Post this morning for lying.
Well, I heard Adam Schiff got 4 Pinocchios. That's good. He should have gotten them 2.5 years ago. That's a very nice question. Let me shake your hand. Come here. That's a very nice question. That's almost a surprise. I figured that was a trick question, right?
Also, what does your letter to Pelosi say? And when will you
Well,
send
we'll
it?
be issuing a letter. As everybody knows, we've been treated very unfairly, very different from anybody else. If you go over not only history, I mean, you go over any aspect of life, you'll see how unfairly we've been treated. We've done a fantastic job. Everything to me is about corruption. We want to find out what happened with 2016, and as you know, there's a lot of work going on in that. I don't care about Biden's campaign, but I do care about corruption. His campaign, that's up to him. Politics, that's up to them. I don't care about politics. Politics, as I think I made clear, and yesterday somebody asked me a question, and I gave an answer, but always in the form of corruption. What I want to do, and I think I have an obligation to do it, probably a duty to do it, corruption. We are looking for corruption. When you look at what Biden and his son did, and when you look at other people, what they've done, and I believe there was tremendous corruption with Biden, but I think there was beyond corruption, having to do with the 2016 campaign and what these lowlifes did to so many people, to hurt so many people in the Trump campaign, which was successful despite all of the fighting us. I mean, despite all of the unfairness. So we are looking at corruption. We're not looking at politics. We're looking at corruption.
What did you say to the Chinese about the Biden, sir?
I don't know. Somebody said that a long time ago. Was that in 2017? I don't know. You'd have to tell me when. All I can tell you this. When I speak to foreign leaders, I speak in an appropriate way. If you notice, they don't mention the call that I had with the president of Ukraine. They don't mention that because it was so good. The only time they mentioned it was when Adam Schiff made it up. You talk about Pinocchios, that should get 10 Pinocchios. He made up a story. It was a phony story, Adam Schiff. So they don't talk about that anymore. You know, when this came out, it was quid pro quo. Well, there was none. Also, yesterday, the ambassador, who I heard was tremendous and a tremendous person, he was 100% for what we're saying. 100%. And if you look, he also said there was no quid pro quo. That's the whole ballgame. But now the Democrats don't bring that up anymore because they lost. Look, they never thought I was going to release the phone call between the Ukrainian president and myself. When I released that call, they were jumping around like you wouldn't believe. They didn't know how to respond. And then they found out that the call itself was so bad for them. It was a perfect call. There was nothing. We hand that call out. We've handed the call out to people and they say, wow, this is incredible. We're very proud of that call. When I speak to a foreign leader, I speak in an appropriate manner. Now, we're also doing trade deals with China, and we're doing deals with a lot of people for the country. So I'm not looking to insult people, I can tell you that, but we could probably find that out.
Would you be more willing to do a trade deal with the Chinese if they investigate Biden?
No, it has nothing to do with it. No, I want to do a trade deal with China, but only if it's good for our country, and it could happen.
You want the House
As you know, they're very much coming over next week, as I understand it. So I'd like to do a trade deal with China, but only if it's a great trade deal for this country. One thing has nothing to do with the other.
You want the House to proceed with an impeachment inquiry at this point, an official impeachment
Well, I
inquiry?
wouldn't mind because we have no rights. The way they're doing it, they've taken away our rights. So if they proceed, and you know, they'll just get their people, they're all in line, because even though many of them don't want to vote, they have no choice. They have to follow their leadership. And then we'll get it to the Senate, and we're going to win. The Republicans have been very unified. This is the greatest witch hunt in the history of our country. So we beat the one that started immediately. We went through 2 years of Mueller, and that came out like a 10. It came out perfect. And a few days go by, and they start this nonsense. And this is just as ridiculous. So the Democrats, unfortunately, they have the votes. They can vote very easily, even though most of them, many of them, don't believe they should do it. And I do believe that because of what they're doing with Pelosi and their real leaders, AOC +3, that's their real leaders. I really believe that they're going to pay a tremendous price at the polls. And we saw the first glimpse of it 2 weeks ago in a great state, North Carolina. We saw a great glimpse of what's going to happen. Because in North Carolina, we had two races. One gentleman, Dan Bishop, was down by 17 points with 3 weeks to go, and he won easily. And the other man, as you know, Greg Murphy, was up by a very little bit, and he won by a massive amount. I don't know, someplace in the 20s, 20% or something, maybe higher. So I think you got your first glimpse of what's going to happen. And the big key is that I have to campaign there. But if you look at what happened in North Carolina, two races, we won both of them, and we won them easily. And one was almost tied, and the other one was a big lead, and that one turned, and the tie became a landslide.
about a vote on impeachment in the Senate?
Well, I don't know about Mitch. I have a lot of respect for Mitch McConnell. I know that I saw his statements, and he thinks that this is ridiculous. He thinks it's unfair. I saw his statement yesterday that he put out where he read my phone conversation, and he thought it was a wonderful conversation, and it was. But see, the Democrats don't talk about that anymore. They try and go to other things. These people are looking for anything they can get because they know they're going to lose the election. And we're in election season now. For them to be doing this now, it's never been done.
North Korea in Sweden. What do you expect?
What?
U.S. is talking North Korea in Sweden right now. What do you expect?
So we're dealing with North Korea. They want to meet, and we'll be meeting with them. It's probably being set up as we speak, but we'll let you know. But North Korea would like to do something. Iran would like to do something. We have a lot of countries in a very good position right now, despite the witch hunt, which hurts our country and it hurts America. But Iran wants to do something, North Korea wants to do something, and China would like to do something. I don't know. That you'd have to ask. Is the Justice Department investigating Joe Biden? Well, that you'd have to ask Attorney General Barr. But I can tell you, just as an observer, what I saw Biden do with his son, he is pillaging these countries and he's hurting us. How would you like to have, as an example, Joe Biden negotiating the China deal if he took it over from me after the election? He would give them, he would give them everything. He would give them everything. How would you like to have that? Joe Biden would just roll out the red carpet. He'd give them everything. So again, this doesn't pertain to anything but corruption. And that has to do with me. I don't care about politics. I don't care about anything. But I do care about corruption. And to have somebody take out $1.5 billion out of China, who's totally unfit. He's unfit. To have him get $1.5 billion, to have him, and now I'm hearing the number of $50,000 a month. Now I'm hearing the number of $50,000 a month is very low. It's a much higher number that Biden's son was getting per month. In fact, it's much higher. And for him as a totally unqualified person to be getting hundreds of thousands a month is very, very sad. So again, is the Justice Department investigating that? I just don't know.
President, do you think the Democrats have the votes? Do you think the Democrats have the votes to impeach him? Do you think you will?
Well, I think they follow the leader. One thing with the Democrats, I give them credit for it. A lot of them don't want it. You know that. You interview them. A lot of them are in, they call them Trump districts, where I won, and then they won after when I wasn't running. But I'm going to win them big. If you look at what's happened with my polls, they're through the roof. You know why? Because of this phony witch hunt. If you look at what happened with the fundraising, we've set a record, the Republicans, because people are sick and tired of it. I got a call the other night from pastors, the biggest pastors, evangelical Christians. They said, we have never seen our religion or any religion so electrified. They say they've never seen anything like it. Churches are joining, hundreds of thousands of people. And you know, that's to a large extent because of you and your partner, the Democrats.
But do you think it'll pass the House, sir? Do you think it'll pass the House and die in the Senate?
Well, I think this. We have a great relationship in the Senate. I have a 95% approval rating in the Republican Party. I believe the Senate, and I haven't spoken to that many senators, but I believe the senators look at this as a hoax, it's a witch hunt, it's a disgrace. Should have never happened. Just like Russia collusion delusion should have never happened. That was a witch hunt. And just like that, should have never happened. So I think in the Senate, I think they feel that the Republican Party has been treated very, very badly. Now, in the House, they have the majority. They all vote with AOC and +3. Nancy Pelosi's petrified of them. I mean, she's afraid she's going to lose her position. Nancy Pelosi will lose her speakership right after the election when the Republicans take over the House.
Sir, can we talk about the text messages that included holding off a visit to the
one
White
text
House?
message that I saw was just about the last text message, because I don't even know most of these ambassadors. I didn't even know their names. But the text message that I saw from Ambassador Sondland, who's highly respected, was there's no quid pro quo. He said that. He said, by the way, it almost sounded like in general. He said, by the way, there's no quid pro quo, and there isn't. Now, for Biden, there would be, but listen to this. There is no pro quo. And that was the text message that I saw, and that nullified everything.
Have you asked foreign leaders for any corruption investigations that don't involve your political opponents? That is, are there other cases where you've asked for corruption
we would have to look, but I tell you, what I ask for, and what I always will ask for, is anything having to do with corruption with respect to our country. If a foreign country can help us with respect to corruption and corruption probes, and that, I don't care if it's Biden or anybody else, but if they can help us, if Biden is corrupt, if his son is corrupt, when his son takes out billions of dollars, billions, and he has no experience, he just got fired from the Navy, when they do that, that's no good. So the only, just to finish your question, anything having to do with corruption, I actually feel I have an obligation to do that.
Including with Mr. Putin, sir. Including with Mr.
Is
Putin.
someone advising you that it is okay to solicit the help of other governments to investigate a potential political opponent?
No, I don't say anything's okay. I'll tell you what's okay.
Advising you
Here's what's okay. If we feel there's corruption, like I feel there was in the 2016 campaign, there was tremendous corruption against me. If we feel there's corruption, we have a right to go to a foreign country. And just so you know,
Including Mr. Putin, sir.
I was
So you acknowledge
investigated.
Mr. Putin as well.
I was investigated. Okay, me. In my campaign, I ran, I won. I was investigated. You won't say that, will you? I was investigated. And they think it could have been by UK. They think it could have been by Australia. They think it could have been by Italy. So when you get down to it, I was investigated by the Obama administration. By the Obama administration, I was investigated. So when these people talk, but as far as I'm concerned, what I want to look at and what we want to investigate, anything having to do with corruption.
China as an ally, a partner, or an adversary?
I view China as somebody we're trying to make a deal with. We have a very good chance of making a deal with. We've had good moments with China. We've had bad moments with China. Right now we're in a very important stage in terms of possibly making a deal. If we make it, it'll be the biggest trade deal ever made. If we make it. But I view China as somebody that we deal with on the world stage. I would like to get along with China if we can, and if we can, that's great. If we can't, that's okay too. But what we're doing is we're negotiating a very tough deal. If the deal's not going to be 100% for us, then we're not going to get it. I will say this. China very much wants to make this deal. China's getting killed. The tariffs are killing China. What's happened is they have now 3 million lost of jobs. Their chains are broken up. If you look at their supply chain, it's a disaster. Companies are going to other countries, including us. China right now is a total disaster.
Mr. President, does a trade deal with China have anything to do with an investigation into Joe Biden? And will you ask?
No. Let me tell you. I'm only interested in corruption. I don't care about politics. I don't care about Biden's politics. I never thought Biden was going to win, to be honest. I picked somebody else a long time ago, and we'll see what happens. But I never thought Biden was going to win. But I don't care. I mean, frankly, if he won, I'd be very happy. I think it'd be an easy opponent. But I never thought Biden was going to win. I don't care about politics. But I do care about corruption. And this whole thing is about corruption. This whole thing is about corruption. This is about corruption, and this is not about politics. This is about corruption. And if you look and you read our Constitution and many other things, I have an obligation to look at corruption. I have an actual obligation and a duty.
Mr. President, what's the next step with Iran?
What?
Are you going to cooperate with the House investigation?
I don't know. That's up to the lawyers. I know the lawyers think they've never seen anything so unfair. They've never seen anything so unjust. I've been president now for almost 3 years, and I've been going through this for almost 3 years. It's almost become like a part of my day. But in the meantime, we have the best economy we've ever had. We have the best job numbers we've had in 51 years. The best unemployment numbers that we've had in a half a century. The best numbers that we've ever had, African American, Hispanic American, Asian American, women, everything. We have the best numbers that we've had in many, many, many decades. And you know what? People understand that. People are working, they're making money. If you look at one very important number that was just announced, wages up 3%. That's unheard of. That's unheard of. So it's a great thing.
When did you first get the idea to investigate the Biden activity? Who advised you to look into that?
We're investigating corruption. We're not investigating campaigns. I don't care about his campaign. As I said, I didn't think, and I don't think Biden's going to win. All right? I don't think. And maybe to answer your question, when you say who is going to win, I'd rather not make a prediction, but I do have a feeling. I didn't think, because I've watched Biden over the years, and Biden is not the brightest person. I never thought he was going to win. I never felt he was going to win. If you look at his other two campaigns, he was a 1%er. He got very few votes. He got taken off of the garbage heap by Obama. Obama took him off the garbage heap. So it's one of those things. But I never thought that Biden, I didn't think Biden was going to win. I guess that everybody has a shot. But I don't think he would be, frankly, my toughest opponent. Just to finish off, I don't think that he will win. I didn't think he was going to win, and I don't think he will.
What do you think about facing Elizabeth Warren?
It's fine. I mean, it's fine. She's a socialist and maybe worse than that. But we'll see. I haven't seen his poll numbers. I haven't seen Biden's poll numbers. Look, Joe Biden was never going to make it, all right? He was never going to make it. He tried it twice. He's at 1%. There's a reason. When I announced, I went to #1, day one, and I stayed there the entire primary season. I never was off center stage. I was never given credit for that, but that's okay, except by Steve. The only one that gave me credit was Steve. Who? No, they were trying to set up a meeting, but he wanted sanctions lifted, and I said, you must be kidding. We had no interest. Ronnie wanted a meeting at the UN. We did talk. I didn't speak to him personally, but our sides talked. He wanted sanctions lifted or partially lifted, and I said no.
Democrats say that you are using the socialism of Venezuela for your political campaign.
We're watching Venezuela very, very closely. The people are suffering, and we are watching it very closely. We're also giving big aid to Venezuela. Now, one thing, I'm now going to Walter Reed Hospital. We're going to be giving out 5 Purple Hearts to unbelievably brave young people. And I'm going to meet you. Some of you are going over. I don't know. I think some of you are going over. So we can talk further over there. Although when we're there, I would like you to respect the process. We're giving out Purple Hearts to very brave people, wounded warriors,
people that have been, I mean, they're just incredible people. And I'm going to be back here in probably 2 hours.
Sir, do you have an impeachment strategy, sir? Sir, do you have an impeachment strategy in the collapse?
Boy, oh boy, this is a group. So I've been doing this for a long time. That is the loudest I've ever heard anything in this room. You just broke the record. Unbelievable. Well, I want to thank you all, and I have a lot of friends, but and this is a place, 1799 it was built, 1799, started off with number 6, John Adams, president, and so it's a long time. It's the White House, so we love it, and it's an honor to have you, but you really did, you broke the sound barrier. I've never heard that. I've never heard it quite like that, and I appreciate it. We love you. We love you. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm honored to welcome everybody and these incredibly talented and unbelievable, patriotic young American leaders. You're going to be the leaders somebody I would be almost willing to bet, maybe even willing to bet, somebody in that audience right here, right in front of me, is going to be standing here someday. I think so. You've got a good shot. You're going to have a good shot. You've done incredible work to get to this position, and I have tremendous respect for it. We're glad to be joined by our terrific Vice President, Mike Pence. And many of our cabinet members are here. They wanted to be here. I told a couple of them, don't have to. Don't worry about it. What the heck? These are my friends. They said, no, we want to be here. So we have a lot of our cabinet members here. And to every young person, you represent America's future. You are the best and the brightest, the bravest and boldest. And someday you are going to be setting records like nobody before. I'm telling you, I know it. I know where it's at. I know where energy is, and you have the energy like very few people have the energy, so I just want to tell you, get out there. Prove me right, please, okay? Prove me right. I have no doubt you will. Each of you has come to Washington for the Black Leadership Summit because you have what it takes to achieve real change on your campuses and in your communities, and that's what you've been doing, and that's actually why you're here. You speak out for the values and principles that have made America the most exceptional nation anywhere on earth. And I will say this, today is greater than it ever was before. Our military, our economy. We have the greatest economy in the world. We have the greatest economy we've ever had. Tremendous numbers just came out today. You heard that. But you stand up for the oppressive forces, and you do. You stand right up to those forces in our country that demand conformity and control. You refuse to be censored, you refuse to be silenced, and you will never back down. And don't ever back down. You're the champions for free thought and free speech, and I especially want to thank a friend of mine who is, I mean, first of all, you think he's like 50, but he's about 25 or something like that. He's a young guy. I can't even imagine being so successful at such a young age, what he's done in so many ways. And really, more importantly, letting young people know that they have a voice. Charlie Kirk from Turning Point USA. Charlie, you've done a fantastic job. Fastest growing organization of thought in the country. He is something. Thank you very much, Joe. I appreciate you being here. And we're also joined by a friend of mine, just got married. And Candace Owens, I watched her and I saw her coming. I said, you know, I'm pretty good at star power. I say, that's a star. Every once in a while I'll see somebody, you know, it happens about once every 5 years. That's all it is, but I'll be watching. I saw Candace probably 3-4 years ago. How long would it be, Charlie? 4? Maybe 4. I saw this woman on television. I said, man, I don't want to mess with her. She's tough. She's tough. Now, I'm not allowed to say it. You know that. I'm not allowed to say it anymore, but she's also beautiful, so I'll say that then. Okay? It's true. Under the Me Too generation, we're not allowed to say it. So all of you young brilliant guys, never ever call a woman beautiful, please. You're not allowed to do it. And I've kept doing it, and I've never been told by that woman never to do it. Just say, thank you, sir. Candace, would you come up here and say a few words? You mind? Come.
You know what? I was thinking, every single president that comes into office after 2 years, they look so much older. He seems to be the only president that's getting younger. He has somehow found a fountain of youth. I think he gets up out of bed. It's the fight. He loves the fight. He really does. We are so blessed. And listen, let me say this. The media, the audacity of them to think that they are going to impeach our president. It's not happening. It's absolutely not happening, not under our watch. We need to make sure we fight for this man, the one man who is standing up for Black America. We are going to fight for, guys. We have to keep it going.
That's so nice. Outstanding person. She's another one. You're going to have to compete with her, too, for this position, I suspect. Thank you very much. Sort of interesting. It's like... do we have a choice? We have to fight, right? We have to fight. We have to fight for everything, whether we like it or not. Another man who's been so incredible, Jerron Smith. Where's Jerron? Is he around here? Jerron Smith. Man, have you done a job. You've done such a great job, Jerron. At least come up and shake my hand, will you, please? Come here, Jerron. You know, he works with us, and He's actually not, I always say he's so elegant and so quiet and so nice. They say, you don't know the real Jerron, so I want to see that. But what he does in the job he's done in outreach and so many other aspects of our lives is incredible. I want to thank you, Jerron. Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. And Jerron knows what I'm about to do because a man who I met on Twitter, or as we would say, social media. He is some piece of work, this guy. He was hitting Deborah Messing like she never got hit before. This crazy Deborah Messing started messing with us. And all of a sudden I see this man on Twitter, and I see him all over, and he was hitting her, and I never saw anything like it. I felt so sorry for her. And then I look and I say, who is this guy? His name's Terrence Williams. I look. And I look and I said, well, you know, the way you look. And the first thing I look is, how many followers does he have? And he had like 700,000 followers. I said, whoa. You know, oftentimes I'll be impressed by somebody. I'll look and they have 3 followers. I say, we have to wait for him or her. But this guy has a following like very few people, and I want to just thank you, because I'm a fan of yours also. You're a very successful guy. Say a few words, please.
Thank you, President Trump. Thank you. Yeah, this is a little too tall for me. First of all, I just want to say I love President Donald J. Trump. The media is attacking him, but when they attack him, they are attacking us. Because he is out here fighting for us. And they are harassing you, Mr. President, so they are harassing me. And I want to say one more thing here. A while back, President Trump said, when he was talking to the black community, if you vote for me, what do you have to lose? Because the do-nothing Democrats have done nothing for the black community. 2020 is around the corner, and we have a lot to lose now because President Donald J. Trump has done so much for the black community. Thank you, President Trump.
He is something, and he's a talented guy. And when he started talking, I watched it once, I watched it twice, and then I called the First Lady over. I said, what do you think of this guy? Thank you very much, Terrence. We appreciate it a lot. We come together at a time of extraordinary opportunity for our nation. Thanks to our pro-American agenda, the economy is booming, wages are rising, and poverty is plummeting. We have the best economy we've ever had, and believe me, we're just getting started. We have such potential, such potential. Last month, the unemployment rate dropped to the lowest level in over 51 years. 3.5%. People didn't think they were going to see that a couple of years ago. If I would have said that, the fake news would have said, this guy's exaggerating. Wages are up by almost 3% in the last 3 years. When I was campaigning 3 years ago, and people were making less and less and less. They were making less 3 years ago. You go back 20 years from then, they used to make more money with one job than they made with 2 or 3 jobs. And now, for the first time in many, many years, wages are rising again. The unemployment rate for African Americans is at the lowest it's ever been in the history of our country. And African American youth unemployment, young African American talented people, recently reached the lowest rate ever recorded. So how do we lose that debate? We'll be up and somebody will say, I'm going to do this. I say, folks, how old is your country? African American, the best numbers you've ever had. And I could go into plenty of other numbers for the first time ever, as an example. The most new hires of prime working age are minorities and women. The African American poverty rate has reached its lowest level in the history of our country. So that's good. And they're working hard, they're finding jobs, and they're getting good jobs. And if you don't like that job, you can get another one because you have a lot of choice. It's like the military. We got them choice in the VA. They could go find another doctor. They could go out. You know, by the way, just because a lot of people are vets, the vets were treated horribly. You don't hear that anymore. You don't hear it. Now, they'll go out and find some vet somewhere in this country that isn't happy. And that person will become a star overnight, right? But you don't hear it anymore. But we did a thing called choice. And that's where people were waiting, our great veterans were waiting for 2 days, 5 days, 5 weeks, months to get a doctor. Now they have to wait at all. They go outside, they get a good doctor of their choice, and the doctor gives us a bill, we pay the bill. And you know, the least important thing is it actually costs us less. That's the least important. The most important thing is we take care of our vets. Our vets were dying waiting to see a doctor. They'd go in, think of this. I mean, many of you go see a doctor. It's not that big a deal. They would go see a doctor, and they'd be waiting online for weeks. And they'd be sick, but not bad. By the time they saw the doctor, they'd be terminally ill. And we don't do that anymore. So it's a big thing. They've been trying to get this approved for over, I guess, Mike, over 45 years. And we got it done. We're good at getting things done. And how much sense does it make? So it's good. So you have choice also. You have choice in your jobs. You don't like your job, you go out. We have a great economy. You go out, get another one. And it's incredible how well you're doing. Our agenda is lifting up citizens of every background, race, religion, color, and creed. But while we are fighting every day to build up our nation, the far left only wants to wreck, ruin, and destroy our nation. And you know better than anybody, for the last 3 years, Democrat lawmakers, their deep state cronies, the fake news media, they've been colluding in their effort to overturn the presidential election. 63 million people voted, and to nullify the votes of the American people. And many African American people voted for Trump. Even then, now they like me more because I said I was going to do it, and now I did it, so you better vote. I said I was going to do it. I said I'm going to do it. Yeah? Thank you very much. But you remember I'd make speeches, and I'd go through a list. I'd be talking about the African American community, and I'd go through a list of worst poverty levels ever, worst crime ever, worst schools ever, worst this. I'd go through 10 things. I'd read off from a list. And at one big rally, I had 25,000 people. I said, go with me. What the hell do you have to lose? Remember that, Candace? I said, what do you have to lose? You're doing the worst in every category. You're getting just, it's terrible. What the hell do you have to lose? And I'll never forget, I got off stage and my people came, sir, that wasn't very nice. I said, no, it's true. What do they have to lose? And you went with me, and I did get a good vote, I have to say. You went with me, and now you have the best employment numbers you've ever had, the best numbers, the best poverty numbers, so it's good. But the radical Democrats are willing to do anything to smear anyone and to lie about everything in their craven quest for power and money and other things, I guess. I don't want to tell you what those other things are, but they're not good, although maybe when the cameras shut off, we'll talk. They're trying to steal your vote. They're trying to steal your voice and steal your country. They're trying to steal your country. And they don't have what it takes. Shifty Schiff. How about Shifty Schiff? He got 4 Pinocchios today in the Washington Post. He lies like a son of a gun. He's been lying for 3 years. But we will never let that happen where they take away your country. We will uphold the sacred principle of government by and for the people, that's you, the corrupt forces in Washington, and they are corrupt, and that includes the media, because large parts of the media, not all of it, you have some great journalists, reporters, but large portions of the media are corrupt, perpetrating these hoaxes like never before. The very same people who have made a living selling out American workers to foreign countries. They were closing the factories. You're losing your jobs. They leave our country. They make the product. They sell the product in, no tax, no nothing. So we ended up with empty factories and no jobs. By the thousands, by the tens of thousands, and jobs by the millions. These are the same bought and paid for politicians who let special interests write the laws, who push trade policies to enrich foreign nations, and who beg far-left judges to rewrite the Constitution of the United States to impose their own extreme ideology. No one in America has been hurt more as a result of the Democrats' corrupt leadership and socialist policies than our nation's African-American communities. It's true. That's true. It's true. For 100 years, African Americans have gone with the Democrats. Has it worked? No. Hasn't worked. Actually, I guess, Candace, it's even more, but 100 years. And you look at what's going on in the cities run by these crazy left Democrats, and what's going on is not good. My administration is fighting with everyone and all our heart to reverse the pain inflicted by Democrat leaders and to deliver hope and opportunity and prosperity for all Americans, but for African American communities all throughout our land. Together we will express the corruption, we will defeat the socialists, we will defraud, and I will tell you what, we will do what we have to do, but we will stop defrauding all of the people in our country, because they've defrauded the people in our country. We'll defend democracy, and yes, we will drain the swamp, but that's what we're doing. African Americans built this nation. You built this nation. You know, you're just starting to get real credit for that, okay? I don't know if you know that. You're just starting to get, you built the nation. We all built it, but you were such a massive part of it. Bigger than you were given credit for. Does that make sense? Right? But with Candace around and Terrence, that's not going to happen for long. But through generations of blood, sweat, and tears, and you deserve a government that defends your interests, protects your families, and cares for our own citizens first. You know, at the border where they want the open policies. They want open borders. They don't want walls. They actually do want walls, but because I want it, you know. I know how I can get the wall. If I announce tomorrow I don't want a wall, the Democrats would come out in favor of the wall. I should have thought of that 2 years ago, but the wall's being built. It would have been a lot easier. We don't want the wall. We want the wall. I say, all right, go ahead and build. Our philosophy is grounded in the sacred bonds of love and loyalty that unite all Americans, and we really have been united. It's been an incredible thing. A lot of great things have been happening. You don't necessarily see it at the top of government, where the hatred is tremendous, the hatred toward us, and a lot of it is because of the success. We're having such success. We're showing them what's going on. When you look at your unemployment numbers, how great they are, best in history. You look at your employment numbers, you look at the poverty numbers, you look at all of the things that have been so beneficial, it's driving them crazy because they never produced numbers like that. And they're losing African American votes, and they can't do that. They just can't do that. They haven't done anything for you. They haven't done anything. 100 years, they haven't done anything. At long last, you have a government that puts Americans first, puts you first, puts your families and your communities first. We're adopting Buy American trade policies to stand up for our workers. Our tax and regulatory reforms are stopping the outsourcing of jobs, where they outsource all your jobs to other countries, and keeping businesses in America where they belong, and keep your jobs where your jobs belong. We're fighting every day to secure our nation's borders and to achieve an immigration system that prioritizes American families, wage earners, taxpayers, and people that can help you and can help our country. To keep our cities safe, we're supporting the brave men and women of ICE and Border Patrol and law enforcement. And you'd be amazed at how many African American people come up, and they have people living near them that are brutal killers. They're killers. But you're tough, you fight back. But sometimes you don't win those fights, because these guys are tough too. They shouldn't be in our country. And it's really amazing to see what some of our law enforcement does and how much they love you. And that's the fact. That's the fact, and we're lucky to have them. To revitalize distressed neighborhoods, we created something that I'm very proud of. Tim Scott, South Carolina. You know Tim? Tim Scott has to get a lot of credit. He came to me with Jared, and he said, so we'd like to do opportunity zones. I said, what's that? But once he told me, I said, maybe that would work. And I think, Jared, it's one of the great, one of the great unknowns of the successes that we have. Thousands and thousands of zones in inner cities and poor neighborhoods, tremendous investments going in, tremendous jobs are happening, revitalization's happening. It's been incredible for the African American community. I don't think there's ever been anything, it's early yet, it's a year and a half, but Jaron, I don't think we've ever had anything quite like it, and people don't like writing about it because they don't want to give the Trump administration credit, but I'm used to that. I'm used to it. You got to get used to it. You know who knows, though? The people know. The people know. But because thank you. Because really no American community is going to be left behind. Any community. To help former prisoners get a second chance at life. We passed groundbreaking, and this is with liberals and conservatives. Some of the most conservative people in the Republican Party were so in favor of it. Senator Lee, Mike Lee of Utah, great guy. Senator Grassley, great guy, Iowa. So many people. Criminal justice reform. Everybody said it couldn't be done. And a group came to my office. Sir, please, would you help us? These were liberal people. And I said, I will. Van Jones was one, nice guy. I wouldn't say he treats me too good, but that's okay. Van Jones. And he said, sir, we need your help. We can't get 5 senators. We can't get this. We can't get that. We need your help. We need your help. Please, sir, help me. Please help me. I said, I can get you those 5 senators. And I called 5 or 6 or 7 to get the 5. Sometimes you have to call a little more than the 5 if you want to get the 5, right? You'll learn. A couple said, could I take a pass on this, sir? But I got 5 people, right, Jared? And we got the vote, and people were shocked. And nobody else could have done it. And they've been trying to change this for the African American community, for the Hispanic community, for other communities, but really the African American Hispanic communities by far benefited the most. And they've been trying to do this for decades. It started with the Clintons. It was not good, right? Remember when she ran and she... No, remember when she ran and she had that young African American woman who was tough. Maybe it was Candace. Could that have been you, Candace? But no, I don't think so. But I remember how she was so angry at Hillary Clinton. But they passed that. And it was horrible for the black community, for a lot of communities, but in particular black and Hispanic and some others. And I said, Senator, it's a great thing. We got to do it. People are in jail for 40, 50, 60 years for a crime that isn't even a crime today. Right? Isn't that right? Our friend, Jared, we have a number of them, but we helped a couple of our friends, a lot of our friends now. We pardoned certain people. Who would you say, Jaron? Who would you say in particular? Go ahead. Give me a couple of names, because we had, you know who I'm talking about, Alice, right? We had a woman, Alice Johnson. We had a woman, Alice Johnson, who was this lovely woman, and she was in for about 22 years already. I mean, she served 22 years. And I think she had another 25 or 26 to go for making a phone call. And look, she admits she did wrong. But today, it would be slightly different, like maybe not enough, to be honest with you. But it would be very different. So she was in, and she was a wonderful woman. And Kanye West came, and Kim came, and they said, President, could you do this? I said, do what? Do what? What are you talking? A woman's been in jail for 22 years. She's got another 28 to serve, I think, something like that. Think of that. And she's got another 28 to serve, and she's a great woman, and she's a wonderful woman. And I get along with Kanye for a long time. You saw the way when he was with the White House, he puts the hat on. I think for one day I went up through the polls like through the roof, I'll tell you. He is with the African American community. They like Kanye and they like Kim Kardashian. And we pardoned her and we worked it so that she was going to be able to get out, a form of a pardon where she could get out. And she came out, and I'll never forget the scene. She comes out of this big prison, mean prison. Not too many of them are nice, right? But she comes out through the doors, and there are her children, but her children are now very grown. Big, strong guys, beautiful women, beautiful, just a big family. And they just embraced. They just embraced, and it was on television all over. It was just incredible to see. And the tears, and they were just like one. It was incredible to watch. And I said, we have to do it with others. And you called Alice. I know that, Jaron and Jared. Come on, give those names. They're great. Right? Right, Brenda? Right. Right. That's right. The prosecutors are doing things that they weren't doing before, right? That's right. Thank you very much. That's great. Boy, you have a good memory. That's very good. Because you work with it, right? It's from the heart. When it's from the heart, you always remember. That's great. And we have many others. And we'll go to Alice, and we'll say, Alice, who knows better? Because you can't let everybody up, because frankly, some are going to be there, and they deserve to be there. But we say, Alice, who else do you think in that prison, you grew up, you were there for so long, 22 years, who else do you know that should be let out? And she gave us some names. And not even that many names, but she gave us 4 or 5 names. And I guarantee you those are great people. They've been in there also for many, many years. And they got to be friendly.
And she's smart. After all those years, she knows the good, and I have no doubt that it'll work out. And we're getting them out now. We're in the process of getting them out to be with their families. So it's great. It's great. It's been a great thing. But I did want to say, so Van Jones was on about 2 weeks ago. And he came to me, and I'm telling you, he was so nice. He was sitting right there when I was doing it. And I said, thank you, Van Jones. Thank you, this one, that one, that one. And that was it. And he came up to me, thanked me, and that was it. Then about 3 weeks ago, I saw him on television. I don't watch your show too much. Neither do too many. But I'm watching him. And he gets up and he goes, I want to thank a number of people because we did something this year that was undoable. They said it couldn't be done. We passed criminal justice reform. Okay? Van Jones said it. And I want to thank Reverend Al Sharpton. Well, he was nowhere to be found. Just so we know, I've known him for a long time. He used to love me. We used to go to fights together with Don King. Don King's a friend of mine. Don King endorsed me. And Don King and Al Sharpton get along. We used to go to fights together. And he liked me until I ran and succeeded in politics. Then it wasn't to his benefit. But look, Al's a con man. We all know that, okay? Just a con man. He's a con man. And he scared NBC into giving him a show, you know. They don't want to have any trouble. But he's just a sort of a third-rate con guy. But here's Van Jones. Here's Van Jones. Van Jones, I want to thank Al Sharpton. I want to thank all of these name people I never heard of. The only one he didn't mention was me. And then it got worse. You ready? Candace, listen to this. Terrence, are you listening? So he named these people, a lot of people, standing at the end of a show. I want to thank, because this was the greatest year we've ever had. We got criminal justice reform. I want to thank this one and that one and that one and that. I never heard of it. And I kept waiting for my name. I said, darling, come over here. I'm going to have a great little name mention. Yes, darling, the First Lady. How good is the First Lady? So she came over. And I kept waiting. And I kept waiting. And then he named a lot of people. That was the end. I said, I was a little embarrassed in front of my wife. I said, he didn't name me. I'm the one that did it. I called up Jared, right, Jared? I said, what the hell is this? But before that, he did have one other thing to say. This was 3 weeks ago. He said, and I have one thing to say that we have to do. We must defeat this president. We have to defeat President Trump. And we have to work 24 hours a day to defeat President Donald Trump. And I called Jared and I said, that's terrible. Right? Is that a true story? And then he spoke to Jared and he apologized, didn't he? He apologized. But I don't accept those apologies, you know? All right. Should we get back on the script? Okay? No, they say no. This is more interesting. They don't want to go back on. This is much more interesting. We love you folks, okay? We love you. Van Jones. Van Jones. He's another beauty. Thank you very much, Van, for the wonderful acknowledgement. I appreciate it. To give every American child the best chance to reach the American dream, we're fighting for school choice. Very important. Sadly, Democrat lawmakers care more about catering to lobbyists and powerful teachers' unions than they do about improving our schools for our children. And Democrats care more about illegal immigrants than about their own African-American constituents. That's true. They want to give health care to people that just walked into the country, and for you, they don't care. The whole thing is crazy. These people have gone absolutely nuts. While we're fighting for the American way of life, the hard left and the radical left is working to trample the rule of law, erode individual liberty, and exert a far-reaching control over our lives. left-wing censors have launched an all-out campaign against free speech. That is why they are trying to silence, deplatform, cancel, punish all of the proud conservative voters, all of the proud African-American voices that know what's happening and know how to become big, successful people, help other people. They want to silence you. But we know, the patriots in this room, will never be intimidated. I know that. I know that. So here with us today is Kieran Boland, president of the Texas State University. That's a big deal. Turning Point USA chapter, who has bravely defended the right to free speech. And Kieran, would you please come up and say a few words, please? Thank you. I thought so. Oh. I love her hair.
So last year on my college campus, they did try to ban Turning Point from our campus. So we fought strong and we prevailed. The piece of legislation was completely unconstitutional, and we are still fighting strong on our campus. So we're still there. I just want to thank Donald Trump for everything you have done for us. We are so incredibly honored to be here, and you've done so much for this country, and thank you so much. I'd also like to thank Turning Point for giving me the platform and the confidence to fight for our right for freedom of speech. It hasn't been easy, and it will not be easy, but being a part of Turning Point and be able to see all of you accomplish so many of your goals and to help fight for the freedom of speech, it's honestly amazing, and it gives me so much hope. Our generation is playing a vital role in keeping our First Amendment rights, and we're going to continue to keep up that fight. So all of you on your campuses or in high school, I know a lot of y'all are in high school, continue to fight for your right for freedom of speech, because you know where you stand, and everyone else can know where you stand too. So just keep up that fight.
Thank you. Thank you, Kieran. Thank you very much, Kieran. I got to get the other cheek. Now I feel better. You've done a fantastic job. I appreciate it, too. In order to protect the rights of our students, I signed an executive order making clear that public colleges and universities shutting down free speech will risk losing all of the billions and billions of dollars that we give them. So we'll shut down their federal taxpayer dollars that go to them. And then they shut down speech. And they just choose whoever it is. They'll let somebody speak. They'll tell other people you can't speak. And then we're supposed to give them individually hundreds of millions of dollars. It doesn't work that way anymore. I've also tasked my administration to explore every possible solution to stop social media giants from restricting your rights to speak your mind. And Candace, you had a problem with it, I know, and other people have had a problem. Some people in this room have had a problem. Terrence, have you had a problem with it? Huh? Terrence has had a problem. It's incredible. It's incredible. Yeah, no, a lot of people have. But not the other side of the world. The other side doesn't have that problem. Very rarely do they have it. We must preserve the fundamental American rights that generations of Americans have sacrificed everything to secure. With us this afternoon is Ben Okereke. That's a great name. I love that name. When Ben was 14 years old, he legally immigrated to the United States after suffering many hardships in Cameroon, which I hear is a beautiful, beautiful place. Cameroon. Oh, wow. One person from Cameroon. To give back to our country, he joined the United States Army and honorably served for 4 years as a very talented field artillery specialist. A lot of talent, they say. Ben, we salute your noble service, and please say a few words. Ben? Ben, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Vice President, and thank you, Charlie Kirk. First of all, Mr. President, we would like to thank you for everything that you've done for the African American community so far. We thank you for criminal justice reform. We thank you for the lowest black unemployment rate in this country, sir.
Thank you.
And finally, most importantly, sir, thank you for saving America, and thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Finally, sir, thank you for taking on the fake news media, sir. Finally, we want you to build the wall, sir. Frankly, because we don't oppose immigration, but we oppose illegal immigration. So we want you to come to this country legally if you're going to come to this country. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Ben. And that's from the heart. That's from the heart. That's what it's all about. The young leaders in this room remind us that true power in our nation is not found in government or hallways or anywhere. It's found not in the media boardrooms. It really is where the strength is. It's in our people. It's in your hearts. It's in your courage, your spirit, your faith, and your pride. Together we will defend the benefits and the beliefs that you want and you have and you're entitled to, the traditions and God-given freedoms that make our country the greatest in the world, and even I think we can say right now the greatest in the history of the world, just like your unemployment numbers, greatest in history, that's the greatest in history also. You are my friends. I'm never going to forget you. You've been incredible. You've been incredible. Whether it's Jaron, the job you do, or Charlie, I appreciate it, or Terrence, or Candace, you're all special people, very, very special people. And you're doing something very important. I don't even know if you know, maybe you don't know. And you know, sometimes you're so into something and you just don't really feel how important it all is. What you are doing is so important for your community and for this country. We will renew the values that unite our people as one America. As one team, we will build up our nation. We will lift up our forgotten communities, and we will defeat any threat. We will beat any challenge. We will overcome every obstacle, and we will achieve a glorious future of American greatness beyond our wildest dreams. And that's what you're doing. To everyone here today, keep up the great work. And I just want to say, from the bottom of my heart, God bless you, God bless your families, and God bless America. Thank you. Well, thank you very much, everybody. This is a group gathering of very talented people. And somebody was saying before, I think Mark Esper, our new Secretary of Defense, and by the way, congratulate you. Congratulations on really having done already a really great job. But you're saying this is the first group where just about everybody's been appointed by Trump. And that's good. That's good. Just about everybody. So we have the people that we want. We're very happy with them. Our military is in great shape. I want to, in particular, I want to congratulate Mark for the new boss, right? You're the new boss, and it's somebody that's respected by everybody in this room and respected by just about everybody outside of this room, I can tell you. So Joint Chiefs of Staff, the head is, it doesn't get any bigger in your world. But we are having a meeting tonight. We're going to have a meeting now, and then we're going to the White House, and we're going to have dinner with the wives and the families, and we're going to have some very interesting conversation. Things are going very well with our military. We've spent $2.5 trillion since I've been president and rebuilt our military. When I came in, we were low on ammunition, and as you know, we had jets that didn't work too well. We had a lot of old planes, and we have now beautiful new planes, or certainly we have a lot of them coming, but we have a lot of them right now in stock. And we're doing things I think that nobody thought was possible. We have had extraordinary relationships with a lot of our allies, and I would say good relationships with others, but we want fairness. We want to be treated respectfully. We help a lot of nations, and they are not they're not sometimes there for us. So we want to help the ones that we want, and we want to help the ones that deserve the help. And I think we've discussed this at length, all of us. Perhaps there'll be some changes made, and perhaps not, but we have to be respected as a nation. A lot of things are changing. You have some very, very wealthy nations, extremely wealthy nations, where we take care of their military and we take care of their military needs. Nobody can do it better than us, but we are really not being reimbursed for what we're doing, and we're having some very nice talks, very friendly talks, and for the most part, I would say, without exception, people are coming through and they're saying, you know, we have to help out also. So a lot of very exciting things are happening with our military. We have a great team. This is our team right here. They're some of the best leaders in the world. I think they're probably the best leaders in the world. We have the greatest men, we have the greatest women, and we have the greatest equipment. Nobody makes it like we do. So I just want to thank you all. We'll have a discussion, then we're going to go over and have dinner at the White House, and thank you all very much for being here. Appreciate it.
Are you confident that you, mostly who's sitting around you, believe what you're doing in Syria is the best idea?
Well, we've been in Syria for a long time, and it was supposed to be a very short hit, and a hit on ISIS, but it didn't work out that way. They never left, and they've been there for many, many years. And we were down to very few soldiers in Syria. We had 50 in the region that you're talking about, 50 soldiers, and they've been already moved out. But we'll see what happens with respect to a lot of different things. We've told Turkey, I spoke with President Erdogan of Turkey, and I said, got to treat him good, you got to take care of ISIS. Don't forget, we defeated, this group largely, defeated ISIS, 100% of the caliphate, 100%. And we wanted to do 100%. I was going to do this 9 months ago, and we were not at 100%, but we were pretty close. Everyone said, can we get to 100%? Now I get to 100%, and they say, well, maybe we could stay longer. I say, well, when do we get out? There's got to be a time we get out. We have to bring our people back home. And frankly, our great soldiers, I've been talking about this on the campaign. You go back 3 years ago and more, and you watch the speeches. We want to bring our soldiers back home. These are the endless wars. And we're not fighting, we're policing to a large extent. We're policing in certain areas. We're not police, these are fighters, great fighters, the greatest in the world, and that's what they do. So I've told President Erdogan, I hope he's going to treat everybody with great respect. You have to understand, they've been fighting various of the people that we were working with, and Turkey's been fighting them for many years. Somebody said hundreds of years. You had just mentioned to me yesterday, 200 years, maybe more. At some point, we have to bring our people back home, and that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Is it a firm decision, sir? It's always a firm decision. Last time I made a firm decision, and I said we'll do it over a period of time. We've been doing this actually over a period of time, over a very long period of time. And we've been working with the people in this room, and our soldiers have been coming back over that period of time. I think that one of the very big factors when we defeated ISIS, we have thousands right now of ISIS fighters and families. We have family members, wives, children, and many of them come out of Europe. They come out of Germany, they come out of France and other countries of Europe. And I told them, you have to take these people back. You have to take them back, give them trials, do whatever you have to do. And they said, no, we don't want to do that. I said, well, you have to do that. That's not fair to the American taxpayer. It's not fair to America. It's not fair to the United States not to do that. But they chose not to do it. I said, again, you got to take them back. We can't take care of 60, 70,000 people. And we're not going to move the fighters to Guantanamo Bay and take care of them for many, many years into the future. It's not for us. We did you a great service, a great favor. We defeated the caliphate 100%. Now it's time for Germany and France and all of the nations where they came from to take them back. And they chose no. And maybe they're going to change their tune now. I don't know. But in the meantime, we'll have to rely on the European nations. We'll have to rely on various other nations. As an example, Iran, Iraq, Turkey, Syria, Russia, and some other nations to take care of these fighters. But the American taxpayer is not going to spend 50 years of paying tax or whatever it may be that they're wherever they may be. For instance, Guantanamo or, for instance, prisons in the United States. The American taxpayer won't put up with that.
Mr. President, are you concerned with the second whistleblower may reveal about
Not at all, because the call was a perfect call. You had stenographers, you had people that took it down exactly. It was a perfect call. It's just a scam. This is a scam by the Democrats to try and win an election that they're not going to win in 2020. All you have to do is take a look at the polls, see what happened. One poll had me up 12 points, 16 points, or 17 points. We just take a look at what's going on. The people understand it's a scam. They're trying to win an election in 2020 by using impeachment. If you look at that call, it's a perfect call. It's congenial. There was no pressure. And what did the head of Ukraine say? Did he say there was no pressure? Did his person say, his top representative, his foreign minister say there was no pressure whatsoever? There was no pressure put on him. This is a scam. This is one of the greatest scams look, we beat you we won on the Mueller scam. That was a whole big deal that lasted for 2.5 years. We had a few days of peace, and then all of a sudden they came up with this one. But I guess it's just part of my life. This is the most ridiculous thing many people have ever seen. All you have to do is read what they wrote down, the stenographers. They wrote down an exact call. Now what happened is Adam Schiff, went up before Congress and he read the most horrible speech, attributed the speech to me. These people won't believe this one. If you went to Annapolis, West Point, or the Air Force Academy, you're not going to believe this one happened. He went up and he took a speech. He made it up. It was horrible. And he said, the President of the United States said this on the call. It's a fraud. He really, it's a fraudulent speech. What he did is incredible. And it shouldn't be allowed. And I don't think it's going to be allowed. I think a lot of things are happening. By the way, Nancy Pelosi knew it was a fraud, and she didn't say anything about it. But if you look at the call, you just take a look at that call. That call is a terrific call. It's congenial. There was no pressure. There was no anything. And you know it, and so do I. And so does everybody else. And that's why the polls are doing well. That's why I don't bring up fundraising. But that's why I believe in the history of the Republican Party at this time, they've never had anything like the numbers that have been raised. They raised $13 million in many small donations in a 24-hour period. That hasn't even happened. So people understand that it's a fraud, it's a scam, it's a witch hunt, and all we do is just keep fighting for the American people, because that's all I do. We win, our economy is doing great, our jobs numbers are the best they've ever been, just about the best they've ever been for many groups, African Americans, Asians, Hispanics. They're the best they've ever been in the history of our country. And overall, they're the best numbers in 51 years. So we're doing great things, and we're going to keep going. Thank you very much. We're going to have a good
night. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much, everybody. I want to start by wishing my very good friend, Prime Minister Abe of Japan, a very happy birthday. He's 39 years old today. So please extend my wishes to the Prime Minister. He's a great gentleman, and we have had tremendous success. As you know, in addition to what we're talking about today, they're building, Japan, many car plants in the United States, which they weren't doing for a long time. And they're building in Michigan, Ohio, lots of different states, and we just appreciate it very much. It's been a tremendous investment. But we're here to talk about a little bit of a different purchase, and that's good as far as we're concerned. And I want to thank you very much. Very much. Thank you. So we're gathered here today at the White House this afternoon to discuss a very strong and groundbreaking achievement for the United States and Japan, the signing of the new U.S.-Japan trade agreement and the U.S.-Japan digital trade agreement. Digital is becoming a very big factor in the world. These two deals represent a tremendous victory for both of our nations. They will create countless jobs, expand investment and commerce, reduce our trade deficit very substantially, promote fairness and reciprocity, and unlock the vast opportunities for growth. In the United States, these deals are a game changer for our farmers and our ranchers. We love our farmers and we love our ranchers. We've been working very hard on this, providing them with significantly enhanced access to a critical foreign market. In a moment, I'll be really honoring a lot of the folks in the room that are here with us from farm country, ranch country, and we're going to be witnessing a historic signing by Ambassador Robert Lighthizer, an ambassador from Japan, a long trip, but you just got here, Sojiyama of Japan, and we're grateful to both of you for the outstanding job you've done and all of the people that were involved with both of you, your staffs and your representatives. Thank you both very much, Bob. Thank you very much. It's a lot of work. We're also delighted that Secretary of Transportation Elaine Chao is here. Where's Elaine? Where is Elaine? Hi, Elaine. That's all right. She's busy, doing a fantastic job. Thank you very much, honey. Deputy Secretary of Agriculture Stephen Chensky is here. Where's Stephen? Right, Stephen? Hi, Stephen. Great job. Thank you very much. Spoke to Sonny last night. We're doing well. A very great gentleman, a very popular man, too, in the world, and especially his wonderful state, Steve Daines. Steve, I saw you back there. Hi, Steve. I saw your poll numbers. You are strong. You're doing good. And that's a good decision by the voters, I can tell you. Thanks, Steve. Representatives Jody Arrington and Kevin Hearn, and thank you, fellas, for being here, as well as North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum. Doug, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Doug. Where's that good, Doug? Good job. Say hello to your wife. North Carolina Lieutenant Governor Dan Forrest. Hi, Dan. Hi. We just approved that last amount of money for the hurricane. You know about that, right? Iowa Lieutenant Governor Adam Gregg. Adam, great job. Great job. And many other state and local officials. We have some tremendously respected people here, political people. I want to extend a special welcome to all of the leaders here today representing American farmers and ranchers benefiting from this deal. There's a tremendously important deal and a very big deal, including those from our beef, pork, poultry, wheat, dairy, and corn associations. I would particularly like to recognize Zippy Duval. He's been with us from the beginning. Zippy. Where's my Zippy? Hi. Very good. Thank you for being here. Zippy's always here trying to make good deals for you folks, right? He's the president and CEO of the American Farm Bureau Federation, and we're doing really well. In fact, we're doing a big deal with Japan, but you know, China's big buying again. You see that China's buying very big. A lot of people don't like to talk about that, but China's in the market, buying very big agricultural. We're also joined by several senior leaders from our nation's top technology companies, including Chris Padella of IBM. Hi, Chris. How are you? How's IBM doing? Very good. You have a lot to do with farming, too, I know, right? We do. With all of those programs that you do. Smart farming, a very smart farming. Peggy Johnson of Microsoft. Peggy, thank you very much for being here. Please say hello, too. And Craig Albright of Business Software Alliance. Thank you very much, Craig. Appreciate it. We do appreciate your support, and it really is now smart farming. In fact, going to MIT doesn't hurt either, right? When you're a farmer nowadays, it's incredible what they do. From day one, my administration has fought tirelessly to achieve a level playing field for the American worker. In addition to the agreements we're signing with Japan today, we reached a tremendous agreement with Mexico and Canada to replace NAFTA with the new USMCA, and hopefully that'll get done in the not-too-distant future. Everybody wants it. Manufacturers want it. Farmers want it. Even unions want it. People want it. That's a great deal for all of the countries, but in particular, it's a great deal for us and our workers. We're also completely renegotiating, and now we've completed that and signed it, the U.S.-Korea trade agreement, substantially expanding American auto exports. It's made a tremendous difference. That was a terrible agreement, and we renegotiated it, and it's now a very good agreement for the United States. It was not a good agreement for the United States at all. today's signing of the U.S.-Japan trade agreement and U.S.-Japan digital trade agreement builds on these incredible successes to the benefit of both of our nations. And I have to say that while we're here, and because of the fact that we're talking about agriculture, ethanol, and the farmers of Nebraska and Iowa and all of the different places that wanted it, we've come to an agreement, and it's going to be, I guess, about getting close to 16 billion barrels, right? Something like that. That's a lot. That's a lot. Say it again.
16 billion gallons.
That's a lot. That's a lot of gallons. So I think they should like me out in Iowa and all of the different places. Huh? I think so. And also, and very importantly, we've taken in tremendous amounts of money in the form of tariffs from China. China has eaten the cost of those tariffs because they've devalued their currency, and they've also pumped a lot of money into their system. Deflation is, we have no inflation. If anything, it's going below the number. So therefore, we're entitled to an interest rate cut. I hope the Fed does that, because we'd be like a rocket ship, and we're already the strongest economy in the world and doing better than just about any economy in the world. And a lot of people are asking us a secret, but would like to see an interest rate cut, a very substantial one, and whatever else they want to do. But we would be a rocket ship. And if you look at from the time I got elected, if you go to November 9th, the day after the election, we're up close to 60% in the market, which is numbers that are pretty much unheard of, because it's a fairly short period of time. Our country is doing really well. But we are taking care of our farmers out of the billions and billions of dollars that we've gotten. You know about that, Zippy, right? So we're giving $12 billion from the year before, $12 billion, and that's compliments of China. Thank you very much. And $16 billion this last year, and then we'll see what happens next year. Maybe by that time it's straightened out. But the farmers and ranchers were targeted, to put it mildly, by China. And it's nice that they're coming back. And by the way, China is also coming here on, their representatives are coming on Thursday and Friday, Bob, I believe. And so you'll start some negotiations. And the relationship's very good. As to whether or not we make a deal, I don't know, but there's certainly a good possibility. But the relationship is a very good one. But we've taken in billions of dollars. And of those many, many more billions, we're giving $16 billion to our farmers, because I asked Sonny Perdue, I said, Sonny, what was the amount of money that last year that the farmers were hurt? He said, sir, let me get back to you. He got back to me. The number was $16 billion. I said, that's okay. We're going to take $16 billion out of the tariff, so we're going to give it to the American farmer. And I think they appreciated that. It never gets reported by the fake news, as I say, but never gets reported. Never. I don't know why. They don't want to do it. And then, Zippy, as you know, we took $12 billion from the year before, and that also came from large amounts of tariff. And